So I want to ask you, how well are we listening to our kids? How in tune are our ears? Life can be really crazy and it's hard to juggle things. But when I tell you we're in a very intense time when it comes to having almost an epidemic of young people who are hurting and who are remaining silent, who aren't reaching out. And I believe one of the main factors with this, because we are in a time unlike any other we've ever been, and I do believe it's greatly attributed to social media, to cell phones, to iPads, to gaming, where we have young people who are saturated and disconnected from the real world. And with that, they've lost a sense and the ability to express themselves, to be able to emotionally connect. And do I believe this is every young person? I do not, but I do believe there's enough young people out there that are hurting and who aren't speaking up because maybe they don't know how. Maybe they don't know how to reach out. I do believe with social media, with cell phone use, it is being proven scientifically, it's rewiring our kids' brains. And I believe we're in a time in with our young people from elementary, middle school, high school, and even college age, we need to have a different element of listening within our ears, within what we're looking for, and being receptive, asking questions, because we have young people hurting in a way they've never hurt before, and who are becoming detached and isolated. And it scares me, and it frightens me, and I think it should scare us as parents, scare us as aunts and uncles, grandparents. What are we doing? And how we really do need to step up to the plate, because we are in a place we've never been before, and I believe we need to be vigilant. Believe we need to be intentional, and I believe we need to be consistent. So I want to kind of get a little bit into this to you, where we have kids absolutely with this rise of anxiety, a rise of depression, and are really kind of in a place where they're imploding, if you will, where they're on an emotional cruise control. And it scares me in a way that I'm going to say within the past year, the increase in prevalence. You turn on the news, you listen to the radio, we've got some heavy stuff going on. And I believe, just like the more we know, the more empowered we are, the stronger we are, the safer our kids are. We cannot settle for a mindset that's just kids will be kids and teenagers will be teenagers. And I think that's something that we hear a whole lot of. And so if we're on the front lines, it's us asking our teenagers, how was your day? You might get a roll of the eyes. Who'd you sit with at lunch today? And expressing to them this ongoing dialogue and teaching them how to dialogue. On the other end of it, it's keeping our ears and eyes open for red flags. Are they detaching? Are they isolating themselves? Has their peer group changed? Is that gut feeling in you like, man, something's up? And asking questions about it. And when we ask questions, what we need to kind of express to our kids, we hurt sometimes, and we're not in good places sometimes, and you can talk to me. But we also need to convey that it's okay if they're struggling with anxiety, they're struggling with whatever thoughts in their head, depression. It's okay to go talk to somebody. It's okay to seek out counseling. We have too many young people, and even adults, especially in this day and age, that there is this negative stigma. It's a punishment. There's something wrong with you when it comes to counseling. We have kids who are breaking. We have kids who are white-knuckling life, that are just getting through the day. And many of those kids are never going to try to take their life. They're not taking pills. But they're on cruise control. They are empty. They are not functioning in a way that they should be. And they are just holding their breath every day. I just want to get through another day. And to me, that's heartbreaking. And then we have kids who are thinking about hurting themselves. Who don't know how to reach out, and we need to allow our kids to know when we hurt, we can't get through life alone. When you're struggling, it's reaching out for a hand. And as parents, it's really hard to say and acknowledge that might not be me that they talk to. That's really, really hard to digest. But sometimes we need to allow ourselves to hear that, and to kind of pass the baton and connecting them with somebody, a professional that they can talk to. And I'm going to tell you, we have a whole lot of kids who are playing Superman and don't mean to, but don't know what to do. They have friends talking about hurting themselves. They have friends saying, make a pact and don't tell anybody, that have a severe eating disorder or harming themselves. please don't tell anybody. But these kids who are kind of like this 911 crisis center, dude, they're kids. They're 15, 16 years old, and I can't tell anybody because then my friend won't trust me. And I'm enough for them. Well, we need to relay to our kids it's not enough, and it's not fair. On both ends of the spectrum, you can't provide the help for them. And for them to kind of make this pact that I'm not going to hurt myself as long as you don't say anything. And, well, that's not fair to both people involved. And it's sharing with our kids that it's not getting that person in trouble when we speak up, but it's actually being a friend. Because friendship is inconvenient sometimes. Friendship is taking a step forward and doing something what the other person might not agree with, because they don't know that they're suffering. They don't know that they hurt. And it's saying, you need help. If somebody's talking about, I can promise you, everyone that's listening, there's a young person, middle school and high school, that they know somebody that is in a bad place. Well, don't tell anybody. And that's not fair. I can save them. You can't save them. And knowing that, I'm going to take you by the hand, and now it's up to them. Let's get professional help. It's getting another adult involved. It's getting a professional involved, because we have so many kids who are, first of all, they're teenagers, who are struggling with whatever they're struggling with. And then to add on top of it, they're being put in positions by their friends, who are their friends who are just hurting in not a good place. They're sick. They are not well, and they need help. To say, being entrusted essentially with their life. And what we need to tell our kids is, dude, it's okay to come forward. And if you don't talk to me, it's going to talk to a counselor, at your school. It's reaching out to an aunt and uncle. It's reaching out to their parents. It's reaching out, because it's not okay if they're talking about hurting themselves, which comes in many forms. That can't be on you, because it's affecting their sleep. It's affecting their schoolwork. It's affecting the other person who's hurting on so many levels. Let's get them help. I'll share this with you. I think about somebody that I went to high school with who was a year younger than me. And I didn't know this person well, but I think, who knew her? Who knew her story? Who knew her hurt? And her junior year of high school, she ended up taking her life. And, due to a relationship, I don't know really any details. I would say I was 18 at the time. And I think now as an adult, who hurt her? Who was listening? Who maybe made a pact to not say anything? And I'm not putting that person in the corner, but we need to allow our kids to know it's okay to have a voice, and giving them resources. Who do they talk to? Because we have so many kids hurting. We have so many kids hurting who are fearful of, what are people going to think? Am I going to be judged? Are my parents or a teacher or a counselor, are they going to look at me differently? Because this is what kids think about. And when we dialogue to say mental health is real, anxiety is real, depression is real. If you're having these thoughts, dude, they're real. And that's okay, but it's not okay to keep our eyes closed. It's not okay to stay silent. It's not okay to not have a wingman and get support. And that wingman can't be their friend. Their wingman that is a peer, they're not capable, and it's unfair to both ends. We need to keep dialoguing. We need to continue just this being diligent, being vigilant, and loving our kids in a way that they might not always dig, but in years down the road, when they're parents, they will get. Because if we don't fight for them, who's going to fight for them? I encourage you from the bottom of my heart to if you haven't already, to jump on my Goodness Chick Facebook page, subscribe, follow me, and hop on Goodness Chick podcast, because the more we know, the stronger we are, the safer our kids are, and the better we sleep at night, man. Keep going, keep fighting. Peace, love, and goodness, my friends.